I stood at the reception desk of a luxury hotel, exhausted from my flight, begging for a room. The manager looked at my simple clothes and laughed in my face. Security dragged me toward the exit while guests recorded everything. They had no idea I owned this hotel. What my husband did next left everyone speechless. Before I reveal this shocking story, hit that subscribe button, because this revenge is absolutely brutal. Smash that like button if you love justice stories. You need to watch until the end. The consequences will blow your mind. My name is Clara, and I've never cared much about designer labels or expensive jewelry. Even after marrying Marcus, a billionaire hotel mogul, I remained the same simple woman who preferred jeans and sneakers over haute couture. Marcus loved that about me. He always said my humility made me beautiful. That Tuesday afternoon, I arrived at the Grand Meridian, one of our flagship hotels in Manhattan. Marcus had purchased it 6 months earlier, but we kept our ownership private. I was returning from visiting my sick mother across the country. My flight had been delayed. My phone died, and I looked completely disheveled in my travel clothes. The hotel lobby sparkled with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Wealthy guests in designer outfits moved through the space like they owned it. I approached the reception desk, pulling my worn suitcase behind me. The young receptionist barely glanced up from her computer screen. When she finally looked at me, her expression shifted from boredom to obvious disdain. I politely requested a room, but the receptionist's eyes scanned my appearance with unconcealed judgment. She informed me rather coldly that the hotel was fully booked. I knew this was impossible. We always kept executive suites available for family emergencies. I tried explaining that I needed to speak with the general manager. The receptionist rolled her eyes and called security instead. A tall, imposing manager named Richard emerged from the back office. His expensive suit and arrogant demeanor filled the space between us. Richard looked me up and down like I was something unpleasant he'd stepped in. He declared that the Grand Meridian maintained certain standards, and I clearly didn't meet them. Other guests began stopping to watch the spectacle. Some pulled out their phones, recording my humiliation for social media. I remained calm, asking again to speak with someone in charge. Richard became more aggressive, suggesting I try a budget motel down the street. His voice grew louder, deliberately creating a scene. The receptionist giggled behind her desk. Security guards moved closer, their hands hovering near their radios. I reached into my bag for identification, hoping to resolve this quietly. Richard didn't give me the chance. He snapped his fingers and 2 security guards grabbed my arms. They started pulling me toward the exit while I protested. Guests recorded everything, their phones pointed at my face like weapons. The marble floor seemed to stretch endlessly toward those glass doors. The humiliation burned through my chest, but I stayed silent about who I really was. Just as security reached the entrance, the elevator doors opened. Marcus stepped out, returning early from his business meeting. His eyes immediately found me being manhandled by his own security team. The color drained from his face. Everything stopped. Marcus walked forward with terrifying calm, the kind of quiet that precedes a storm. He asked what was happening, his voice dangerously soft. Richard, still unaware, puffed up his chest and explained how they were removing an unsuitable person from the premises. Marcus listened without interrupting. Then he looked at me, his eyes filled with fury and pain at seeing me treated this way. He turned back to Richard and asked a simple question. Did Richard know who owned this hotel? Richard stammered something about the corporate office. Marcus corrected him. He owned this hotel. The blood drained from Richard's face. The receptionist's giggling stopped abruptly. Security guards released my arms and stepped back like I'd caught fire. Marcus then asked Richard if he knew who I was. The silence in that lobby became suffocating. Marcus stated clearly, for everyone recording to hear, that I was his wife, the co-owner of this entire hotel chain, and the woman Richard had just humiliated and physically removed from her own property. The phones that had recorded my humiliation now captured Richard's complete destruction. His career ended in that moment, and he knew it. Marcus didn't yell. He simply made calls. Within 15 minutes, Richard was terminated along with the receptionist and both security guards. Marcus reviewed security footage from the past 6 months, discovering this wasn't an isolated incident. Richard had built a culture of discrimination, judging guests by appearance rather than treating everyone with respect. The entire management team was replaced within the week. Marcus implemented new policies across all our properties. Every employee underwent sensitivity training. We established an anonymous reporting system for discrimination complaints. The video footage from that day went viral, not because we released it, but because those guests posted everything online. The story became a teaching moment about judging people by their appearance. We received thousands of messages from people who'd experienced similar treatment at luxury establishments. Some were heartbreaking, others were infuriating. I could have revealed my identity immediately and avoided the humiliation. But sometimes the universe needs to expose ugliness before real change can happen. That incident transformed how our entire hotel chain operates. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Dignity shouldn't depend on your bank account or designer labels. Respect is free, yet some people make others pay dearly for it. How many Richards are working in places you visit every day, deciding who deserves kindness based on appearances? What would happen if everyone was treated like they owned the place?